Hey guys, it's your girl Don't Touch My Toys, and I'm doing a little tidying up today in the doll room. I thought I'd do a little vlogging today, bring you in on my process, and just catch up with you guys for a bit. So we're going to keep it real behind the scenes today, and you are going to see my mess and kind of what I'm doing in my Barbie room. I will say that it's been kind of piling up with clutter lately just because I have been doing sales online, and anytime I do sales, my Barbie room becomes a mess because I do my sales in this room. So I'm putting tables in here and inventory I'm selling mixed with inventory that I need to make room for in my collection, and it kind of gets out of control really quickly. So one of the projects I have been wanting to do for a while now is move some of my Takata dolls off of the shelf and into my Barbie Pink and Pretty house. I have two Barbie Pink and Pretty houses that I have combined together to make a Pink and Pretty mansion, and I had the same tenants in it for at least the last 6 years, and I just thought, you know what, let's change things up. That would be a great way for me to move out some of that overflow off the shelves and give them a new fun way to be displayed. And we'll just have to find a new home, I guess, for some of these other Barbie tenants. They've been with me for years. It's now time for them to move on to their next collector's home, I guess. We'll see what happens. Here's the aftermath of some of the tenants. Now that I'm looking at this, I don't know where the rest of them were because I had a lot more than this. I may have already sold some of the tenants. I can't remember. I have been doing a lot of sales lately. I really have been trying to let go of certain things, and it's hard to keep track of what I've sold, but I'm assuming that's what happened to some of the other tenants because I had probably about 30 dolls in the Pink and Pretty house before Takata moved in. So you're seeing the Takata shelves after I've already taken out some of the overflow. And I know some people are going to look at this display and say, girl, are you serious? This still looks really crowded, but this is what I'm working with, guys. I'm just keeping it real with you. I mean, if you think this looks bad, you should have seen the way it looked before, because I had dolls standing in front of other dolls. It was really bad, just completely obstructing the view of some of the dolls that I have on display. So I have made some edits, and I did sell some dolls, and then the ones that I just can't get rid of right now, I moved them into the Pink and Pretty house. So let me show you what I've done so far. There hasn't been any changes to the furniture that's in the Pink and Pretty house. All I've done is just moved in some new tenants here. And this was really fun for me, just to kind of determine who I would put in each room. But this I did change. I just added some greenery here. I'm gonna make this like a little outdoor patio scenario. I do need to dig in my bins and find some of my playground furniture, because I know I do have some playground pieces for Kelly that would look really cute here, like a sandbox and some other stuff. Speaking of Kelly, what is she doing here? She does not belong here. We need to find a Mickey or Maki for that little vehicle. But little finishing touches that I'm still working on. I need to put some shoes on some of these kids as well. Also want to add some lighting to this room because, good God, it's so dark in some of these little scenes here. But this was really fun. Obviously, I love miniatures, so I don't intend to get rid of the Pink and Pretty house anytime soon. And this was a great way for me to change things up a little bit, because even though it's the same furniture and a lot of the same miniatures, it really just changes the vibe when you put different dolls in here. So that was a really fun project to work on, and it obviously gave me the room that I needed on my shelf space. And hopefully we will find other ways to kind of reduce the collection even more and be able to display these in different ways, because I do have more ideas that I'm thinking about doing with my collection. So just by doing this one change to my collection, I have been able to reduce 31 Takata dolls off of my wall shelves, which is incredible. And I'm not ready to get rid of the Pink and Pretty house. And this has been in my collection since I started collecting Barbie again. And it's one of my favorite doll houses because you can fit some of the bigger, bulkier furniture pieces. And really, I just love this because you can move these rooms around all sorts of different ways. I mean, you could really become an architect with these modular kind of rooms that the Pink and Pretty house offers. This is two Pink and Pretty houses combined. I've even seen collectors who have purchased like 3 or 4 and had an entire wall dedicated to Pink and Pretty, like an entire like apartment complex, like a mega mansion. But this is plenty for me because space of course is an issue, but I'm happy with this. I can live with this. And best of all, it helped with my main goal, which was to reduce the clutter on the wall shelf. So I promised you mess, and this is the mess that I'm referring to. I just don't like seeing anything on the floor in this room. Like, I want this to be a completely open space when you come in, but with me doing the whole changes to the Pink and Pretty house, I still have the tenants on the ground that I need to figure out what's going to happen to. I have miniatures that I've recently found secondhand when I've gone sourcing that I need to figure out where I'm going to put at, ones that I'm going to keep, some that I'm going to sell, all of that stuff. I'm also in the process of restyling dolls, which is always a hot mess for me. I have a bunch of new dolls that I've received off of Whatnot, off of Zen Market, that I'm restyling, and I always have a huge mess when I do that. So, not to mention, I also have dolls that I need to unbox still. So, yeah, this is what we're doing over here at my house right now, and I hope to finish all of these projects before Monday, and today is what, Tuesday. So we have a lot to work on. I hope to come in here throughout the week and get some of these projects done. So remember when I said that I was done with Bratz and I was going to sell a lot of my Bratz dolls? Well, I did. I sold a lot of my Bratz dolls, and I kept the ones that I have a lot of attachment to. And then Bratz just keeps pumping out amazing collection after amazing collection. And let's just say my collection is starting to build up again with Bratz. So we're right back to square one again. Right now, currently, this is the only area I have dedicated to Bratz at the moment. And this is still final edits on my collection that I'm not willing to part with. But I purchased this new one recently at Target because she's just freaking gorgeous. Like, I love this doll so much. And I also have the Hello Kitty dolls, which I have yet to unbox, but I don't have an area to put them at. So what I'm thinking of doing, and I know this is going to upset people that I have been Barbie friends with for many years, I think that I'm going to get rid of these. I think that I'm going to make a lot of cuts that some of my OG Barbie friends are going to be shocked by, because I love these dolls. I think they're really cool to look at, but I don't know what else to say. I think that we've had our season together, and I think I want to move on. I want to keep some icons, like you know, my Superstar 88. I love Superstar 88. That was my favorite childhood doll. But there's just so many of the 80s and 90s dolls that I think I would be fine without. Is that crazy? Have I lost my mind? I don't know. I mean, really what I'm thinking is that I want to get rid of some of this on the shelf. And I think my goal would be, if it's a doll that I really, really still truly just like geek out over, I would like to find it in box and just keep it in box on display, because I don't necessarily need one on the shelf anymore. I would rather put some of my more modern dolls, I guess, on the shelf space, and then put some of those icons to just keep them in a box on display. I think that that's the direction my collection is heading to in the next year. I think that I'm going to gradually thin down a lot of these iconic out-of-box dolls and only keep them if they're in a box. So that's where we're going right now. I'm not in love with this anymore. I want different things. What can I say? I feel so terrible saying that out loud, to be honest, because at one point, a lot of these dolls, I just couldn't wait to add those to my collection. And now that I have them, again, I think my way of collecting has just transitioned a lot over, the last, 10 years that I've been collecting. So that's kind of where I'm at right now on my collecting journey. I'm really just like reevaluating some of the dolls that I currently have and the dolls that I can't live without. And I've only been recollecting Barbie again for the past 10 years. So I'm sure that this may be normal. I'm sure that other Barbie collectors have gone through this, where maybe they started off with the era of their childhood dolls and then they kind of ventured off into mod dolls and then Silkstones. And, I'm sure that this is typical behavior, or thoughts, I should say, when you are a Barbie collector long term. I don't want to say I'm done Barbie collecting, because I do still get joy out of new beautiful dolls. I mean, clearly I just bought the Birthday Wishes doll and I'm like so excited to restyle her. The Ballet Wishes doll, I'm so excited to restyle her. But yeah, I don't know. My collection journey started off with really trying to get my childhood dolls first. Like, that was my goal. Like, I need to get all of the Barbie and the Rockers. I need to get all of the Rappin' Rockin' series, And then it's like, once I got those, I was like super, super happy with that. I was doing a lot of photography back in the day with 80s and 90s dolls, and I don't do that anymore. I barely photograph those dolls anymore. I still get excited when I come in here and I see them, but other than that, I just, I don't really, I can live without them is my point, I guess. It was fun. I had them in my collection for many years. And I still would like a few of those series in box just to, have on display. But I don't need all of this right now. Like, seeing this, it's just too much for me, and I want to thin those out. So I probably will be letting go of quite a bit of those. And I do actually have some of those already in box, so that's cool, that I will have some to get to keep forever, but I don't need to be a completionist with those series, because when I first started collecting, I was a completionist. I didn't just need Dee Dee from Barbie and the Rockers. I needed every single Barbie and the Rockers, and I needed both series. I didn't just need, wave 1. I needed wave 1 and wave 2. And I just don't collect that way anymore, I guess. So yeah, we are going to do a lot of edits in the next year, and we'll be buying differently as well for our collection in the next year. So I will say that I'm doing the same type of thought process with Maxie. I love Maxie. I think she's super cool. But I don't need all the Maxie dolls either. So I'm probably going to get rid of some of the Maxie dolls. This shelf that's right behind me with all of the Western Stampin' dolls and all the career dolls, I think those are going to be up on the chopping block as well. I would just like to have a space for Bratz again. Keep going back and forth with it, but I would like to put another space for Bratz. And yeah, I would, in a perfect world, like to have an entire 1, 2, 3, 4 cubbies for just Takata. like one entire bookshelf with only Takata dolls. Because to only have, well, I guess we're almost there. I have 3 little cubby spaces with Takata right now, but one of those is Lika, so I feel like, I guess what I mean to say is I would like to have at least one full bookshelf with only Takata Jenny and her friends. And then Lika, you know, I don't intend to buy more Lika. I think Lika is cool, but Lika is not what I like get super pumped and geeked out about. It's always Takata Jenny. So I would like to have enough space to comfortably put 4 cubbies, an entire bookshelf of only Takata Jenny dolls. So we'll see how that works out. I wish that this room was just a little bit bigger so I could fit, you know, at least another 3 shelves for dioramas, because realistically, that's my favorite way to display dolls is dioramas, and I would love to only have dioramas on these shelves. And who knows, maybe one day I will be able to do that. But right now, I still have way too many dolls that I would have bins and bins of overflow if I did transform this room into only dioramas. And not only that, I wouldn't even know what other dioramas to do, because that's a lot of different scenes, and I feel like it would become almost repetitive if I had that many different diorama scenes that were like out and about and not in like a home type setting. You know, I would still like to do like an arcade. I think an arcade would be really cool. A comic book store I think would be awesome. Even a thrift store I think would be kind of funny. I don't really have any dios right now that are, well, I do. I guess I have a Macy's department store diorama, so that would be considered like a clothing shopping type, but I only have the cosmetic department on display right now. But yeah, I guess I could come up with different scenes, but ideally I think I would love to be able to get to that place where I could just transform this room to only dioramas and not feel so bad getting rid of all the dolls that would be overflow if, you know, I did reduce all of the shelf space to only dioramas. Because in most of my dioramas, I can fit maximum maybe like 7 dolls per space. So that would mean that a lot of these dolls would get the boot. Well guys, I'm rapidly losing my natural daylight, so I'm gonna wrap up this video here, but thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe. I do have some plans for a few more videos this month, some end of the year recaps, and perhaps a couple of unboxings if I can squeeze them into my schedule this month. But thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.